Peter Pan, Chapter 12, For Love of Wendy. The forest came alive with the sound of the boys cutting and hammering. They had already carried up everything Wendy might need from their underground home. Tables, chairs, a dresser, and a bed. Now, they needed to build the walls.
If only we knew the kind of house she likes,
said Curly. When Wendy began to wake up, they asked,
Wendy, tell us what kind of house you would like.
Opening her eyes, she began to sing.
I wish I had a pretty house, the littlest ever seen, with funny little red walls and a roof of mossy green.
They were delighted to hear her voice. They brought moss for the roof and branches with red sap for the walls of the little house.
What next?
They asked, and she sang again.
Oh, next I'll have blue windows all about, with roses peeking in and children peeping out.
They carved out windows and made make-believe roses to decorate the outside of the windows. As for children, they would be her children. The house was almost done. It looked beautiful, and the boys were very proud that they had made such a nice place for her. They loved Wendy already, but once the walls were up around her, the boys couldn't see her anymore. They stayed outside, wondering what to do.
What we need now is a door and a knocker,
said the practical Slightly. They shaped a door from a large piece of wood. Then Toodles gave up the bottom of his shoe, which made an excellent knocker. Now the house was truly finished. There was nothing to do now but knock on the door.
we must all look our best.
Peter told the boys.
First impressions are very important.
They washed their hands in a nearby stream and came back to the house. In the lead, as always, Peter knocked politely on the door. The door opened, and Wendy came out. She looked properly surprised, just how they had hoped she would look.
Who are you?
She asked. Slightly was the first to speak.
Wendy, we are the Lost Boys, and we have built this house for you.
Oh, say that you're pleased.
Cried Nibs, excitedly.
It's a very lovely house. I thank you so much for your kindness,
Said Wendy. And that was just what they had hoped she would say.
And we want to be your children,
Said Toodles, shyly. Then they all went down on their knees and cried.
Wendy, please be our mother.
But I'm only a little girl,
Said Wendy.
and I have no real experience as a mother.
Doesn't matter.
Said Peter, who always knew best.
We just need a nice motherly type of person to help us.
I will do my best.
Wendy replied. With those words, she invited all the boys, including her brothers, inside.
Make sure to take off your shoes first.
She instructed.
Then I'll tell you a story before you go to bed. How would you like it if I told you the rest of the story of Cinderella?
All the boys were delighted, even John and Michael. They squeezed into the tiny little house, and that was the first of many cozy evenings the boys spent with Wendy. Later, when she felt better, she began to tuck them into their beds in the house underground. But for quite a long time, she slept in the little house the boys had lovingly made for her. Peter kept watch outside with his sword. Pirates, Indians, and beasts could be heard prowling in the distance. And so they lived happily ever after, for a while.
Little Fox.